Welcome everyone. It is an absolute honor and privilege to introduce to you the amazing Danielle Drew. I was introduced to Danielle about 7 months ago now on school. I asked someone I was networking with to introduce me to a female powerhouse, and Danielle's name was first on their lips. Danielle is an amazing speaker. She is an incredible woman and human. We've got to know each other really well over the last number of months, and I'm super excited to be hosting her here in Social Selling with Sam. But she's also broadcasting this to her own community. So we're doing a bit of a what's a cross-pollination of communities right now. So some of you are here from Danielle's community, some are here from my community, but either way, you're all going to learn tons and tons about how to leverage speaking and vocal power to absolutely explode your business and get lots of new leads into your business. So over to you, Danielle Drew.
Thank you, Sam.
I will be.
Have you guys ever felt like if you could just crack that algorithm, absolutely everything would change in your business? Or maybe if I could just get more leads, or I could just get more people to, I don't know, really understand what I do. Or even if I could just get myself in front of the right people, my God, everything about my business would be so much easier. Has anyone ever felt that way? Give me a little thumbs up if that is you. I know I have, so lots of people here feeling the same way. But what if the algorithm isn't the real issue? In fact, what if the problem, the real problem, is that people don't clearly understand why they should trust you? And what if the missing piece isn't more content or more ads or more posts on social media? What if it's a stronger voice? Because I don't know if you guys know this, but we can be great at what we do and still go completely unnoticed by the marketplace. And that's because people do not always choose the best person to work with. They often choose the person that they understand the best. So being good at what we do is not actually good enough anymore. And today I'm going to share with you how public speaking, yes, public speaking is actually your secret weapon for attracting new clients, building your authority, and becoming the expert that people actually remember. So I'm going to share my screen here. So if you have some note-taking tools, this is the time to whip them out. So public speaking, attracting new clients, building authority, and becoming a memorable asset, or a memorable expert, in fact. So if you want to attract the right people to your business and grow your business, but you're not a huge fan of chasing leads, and if you're in business and you know that you have value, but you're really struggling to showcase that clearly to the right people, then you are in the right place here today. I'm going to tell you about a very specific kind of public speaking that is going to help you overcome all of those challenges. And if public speaking makes you feel uncomfortable, painful, or simply something that you know that you should do better, don't worry, because thanks to the amazing Sam Rattling, there is a gift for you at the end that will make you easily able to take that next step. Now, as we go through this, I invite you to think about one thing. If this special type of public speaking helped more people understand, trust, and choose you, how would that change your business? If you could attract more leads and be seen as the authority in your space, really think about what would be different for you. And pop it in the chat, please, so I can make sure that we have the right people here. What would be different for you? It's an important question, so I really want you to think about it. Daniel says, my agency would explode and you'd help way more families. Fabulous, Daniel. Jason says he'd be more open and trusting. I love that. And Stacey says, I get more visibility and reach for my message. Fabulous. So we are in the right place with the right people, which is wonderful. Sam says she'd have more authority in her space. Padma says more corporate higher ticket work and more clients and income. I love that for you, Padma. And Ubaid, staying connected to your mission. Beautiful. Okay, you guys are on fire there today. Edgar, not waste as much time on posting and social media. You're going to love this, Edgar. And Joe, attracting more clients and having more confidence. Brilliant. All right. Before I share with you the specific kind of talk, I want to see who's quickest on the keyboard in the chat. So get your fingers all lubed up and ready to go. Here's a little test for you. Who knows which company this is? What's it called? And the winner is Stacey, on fire. It is Apple. All right, some close contenders for second place there. What are they known for? What do you think of when you think of Apple? What do you think of? What's the thing that comes to mind? Computers, says Alan. Simplicity, IT. All right, all pretty much the same answer. Correct. It's 1 point. So give yourself a little tick. What about this one? What's this company called? Nike. Very good. Oh, it's so quick on the chat. I didn't even see that one come through. That was lightning. Let's see who was first. Steve Manns. Congratulations. And what are they known for? What are Nike known for? Shoes, sneakers, just do it. Fabulous. All right. Now, this is a tough one, but see if you can see it. Who is this? Macca's from Shannon in Australia. The winner is Australia on that one. And what are they known for? Disease. Thank you for that, Natalie. All right. Bad food, says Steve. Junk food. So not a popular choice there. Okay. So we all know what each of those companies are at a glance, right? Those are all brands. This next lot is people. Let's get yourself ready. Bit of a stretch, bit of a limber. And who is this? TS, geez, he's leapt in there with even the initials. He was so quick. Taylor Swift, fabulous. All right. Roberto's come to bat in behalf of McDonald's. That's the spirit. What is Taylor Swift known for? What kind of music? She plays for the Chiefs. That's a low blow there, Daniel. She's her own woman. She's pop music. That's right. Fantastic. All right. And what about this guy? Anyone recognize him? What is he known for? Ed Sheeran. Congratulations, Sam. I think was first there. He's known for what kind of music does he play? Folk music? Indie pop? It's a little bit unclear, that one, isn't it? I kind of put that one in there on purpose. Nobody really knows. There's a whole lot of answers there. He's well known for his face. His music style's fairly various. Okay, now this one's going to throw almost everybody. There's probably only one person in this whole audience who'll get this, but let's see which one it's going to be. Who is this band? Oh, Ian! Daniel, I was completely wrong. The person I thought was going to get that didn't. AC/DC, Akadaka. And what kind of music are they known for, guys? Rock music, hard rock and roll. Terrific. All right, this last music star. These are a bunch of different artists and they're all known for the same kind of music. What is it? Rap. Oh, boy, I'm going to get dyslexia going through there. There we go. Ashley was first with rap. Congratulations. All right. Who is this guy? Anyone know who this is? Simon Sinek. Very good. And what is he known for? When you think of Simon Sinek, what do you think? The Power of Why. Congratulations, Padma. That's what he's known for. All right, one last question. This one's a bit out of the box, so you'll have to put your thinking caps on for that. What is this? If you were to describe it in one word, what would you call it? Well done, guys. The ladies all got that one first. A signature. It's a signature. We've all got one. It's unique, it's recognizable, and it represents who we are. You guys did great with that. You must have studied. Now it's time to reveal the secret. The public speaking business tool that helps you attract clients and showcase your expertise with ease is called a signature talk. Now, if you haven't heard that term before, a signature talk is one talk that is unique to you, one talk that you repeat over and over and over again, and one talk that becomes instantly associated with you. As I like to say, it's the one talk to rule them all. Well, that's one especially for my fellow Lord of the Rings nerds. Now, by the end of this session, you're going to understand why a signature talk can be one of your most valuable business assets. And you're going to have a framework to start shaping your own talk to help the right people to trust you faster and want to work with you. But before we do that, there are some common misconceptions about public speaking that I want to help you avoid. The first one is when most people hear public speaking, they picture a big stage and they've got a microphone, a huge audience, big lights, and they've got a stage crew. And for a lot of people, and this was absolutely me included, they're thinking to themselves, that is not me. But I am not talking about public speaking to become a performer. I'm not going to get up there like Taylor Swift or Ed Sheeran. I'm talking about public speaking here, guys, as a business asset, something to attract clients and showcase your authority. It's a very specific type of speaking. And public speaking in this sense is any moment when you use your voice to talk about your business. It might be on a podcast, it might be client conversations, it could be doing a panel of experts on a Q&A, you could be doing networking meetings, you could be doing webinars, maybe you're interviewing for a job or you're interviewing somebody else for a job. Maybe you're doing gradings in the martial arts space or you're doing presentations for your business. Any of those spaces are public speaking opportunities to showcase your business and attract clients. So public speaking is not about becoming a speaker in this sense. It's really about becoming easier to trust. And for those people who think public speaking is some kind of soft skill, I want to challenge you on that. Public speaking is actually a revenue generating skill. I'm going to repeat that because it's incredibly important to understand. Public speaking is a revenue generating skill. Let me give you an example. One way of understanding this better is thinking about buying a new car. When you're looking at buying a new car, you can read the brochure and you look at all the photos of the cars. And if you're that way inclined, and I'm definitely not, you might compare the specs and the features, and the engine does this and the other bits do that, and all those bits do the stuff that they do together. But nothing makes you more interested than actually sitting in the car and getting a feel for the experience. Smelling that new car smell, isn't it divine? And feeling the texture of the steering wheel as you run your fingertips along it. And then nestling into the seats and relaxing as you check out. Oh, look at those great cup holders. And then you delight in finding all those nifty little storage containers. And nothing convinces you to buy that car like a test drive. Because when you experience it, you want to buy it. And signature talks work in a really similar way. Think of your website like the brochure and your social media as that spec sheet. And all the content that you create is the photo gallery. But your voice is the test drive. When people hear you speak, they can really sample your expertise and feel the experience of what it would be like to work with you. And they start to trust you so much faster than any of those other forms of communicating with people. And that is why a signature talk is such a powerful client attraction tool. Second misconception: relying only on socials to build an audience. Now, don't get me wrong, guys, social media is super useful and it absolutely helps people to see you. But in this really, really noisy market where AI is saturating every platform, people don't know what's real and what's not real. And just do a little bit of a check here. In the chat, give me a yes if you have seen some piece of content in the last week where you think that was probably AI generated. Lots of yeses coming in. There was no hesitation there. People don't know what's real, and we therefore don't trust almost everything that we see in social media. So the new commodity or the new market advantage is trust. Trust has become the most powerful marketing advantage that we have in business today. And this is where many business leaders get really stuck. And I see this with my clients all the time. They believe that followers and likes are the key metrics that they should be growing in their business. But being seen is absolutely not the same as being trusted. You can post every day and still be forgettable. You can have thousands of followers and still have no clients. People scroll past ads and they skim past posts and they ignore content. But when someone speaks live at a conference, a podcast, a webinar, or a meeting, and they do it well, people pay attention. And that's because your voice gives people something that content does not. It gives them an experience. They can hear your passion, they can see your understanding, and they can witness your confidence and your expertise. The danger of relying only on social media to attract clients and to grow your authority is, it's like, the best way I can describe it, it's like building a beautiful business on rented land. The algorithm changes all the time, right? And reach can just drop for no reason. You're doing nothing differently. And something that got a whole lot of attention last week got zero attention this week. Why? Nobody knows. And then accounts get restricted. And suddenly, the audience you thought you had, you can no longer reach. This was a post I saw last week, 12th of May. Help! I'm freaking out. My business Instagram with almost 21,000 followers has been suspended. I've done nothing wrong. I've tried to appeal. Can anyone help? This is my full-time income and I am devastated. Has anyone else seen these kinds of posts on socials? Give me a thumbs up if you have. Make sure everyone's still awake there. Yep. Awesome. And this one was yesterday. A 69,000 follower Facebook page. 20 days later, they are drowning. Their revenue has tanked. And that last underlined sentence is the most heartbreaking. We are genuinely at risk financially because our business relied heavily on a Facebook audience. Same thing happened, Edgar says, last week on LinkedIn. Wow. So here's the lesson. If you don't own the platform, you don't own the audience. Take a moment to let that sink in. But you do own your voice. Like a fingerprint, it is uniquely yours, and no platform, no algorithm change, and no trend can take your voice from you. Your ability to speak clearly and fluently goes with you wherever you go, and that is why speaking matters so much in business, because a strong signature talk can turn your voice into something that people recognize, remember, and above all, trust. And here is the final misconception. Being confident does not convert into clients. Being compelling does. And this one, whew, this is a mistake I made a lot. And I see it all the time when people first start working with me to create their own signature talk. I used to be a terrible, terrified public speaker. In fact, I avoided speaking altogether. I overthought everything when I had to speak, and I absolutely felt sick to the stomach, and I have thrown up more than once at the mere thought of being seen on stage. And for a long time, I thought, if I could just stand on stage without panicking and without turning into a human sweat sprinkler, that'd mean I was confident. And that would be enough. Maybe you felt that way too. And eventually, I got there. I could walk onto stage and I could stand there and I could deliver a talk and I could say, yes, I am a public speaker. Yay me! But here's what I didn't expect. I was confident, yeah, but I was also boring. I rambled and I spoke too quickly, and my message was so muddy because I didn't have a good framework that I followed. And you know what, guys? Most people are really polite and they would clap at the end, and some people would even say, good job. But guess what? Nothing actually happened when I spoke. There were no meaningful conversations. I got no leads. I got no clients. And you know what that created? This truly horrible imposter syndrome. I had failed. And I couldn't figure it out. Because on the outside, I was doing the right thing. I was turning up, I was speaking, I was showing up, and I was putting myself out there. But because I wasn't getting the results, I kept thinking, yeah, shit, maybe I'm not good enough. And then I started comparing myself to others. And of course, I decided to start out small in my comparison, and I compared myself to people like Tony Robbins, who seemed to have the gift of the gab. Now, this guy can hold attention and he can position himself as the expert. Why couldn't I? I'm not panicking about speaking. I'm confident. And I'm great at giving information. Lots and lots and lots of information. But I wasn't leading the room. And the turning point for me came when I realized something. I realized there is a huge difference between being confident and being compelling. Confidence means you can stand up and speak. Compelling means people lean in, they trust you. Most importantly, they want to take that next step and work with you. And once I understood that, absolutely everything changed. I stopped trying to just be confident. I started learning how to craft a talk that created connection, authority, and action. A talk that gave real value. One that helped people experience my expertise way before they ever worked with me. And I can see in the chat that's resonating with a few of you as well. Natalie says lots of info, but not leading the room resonates strongly with me. I hear you. That used to be me too. And I started delivering my signature talk online and on stages across the globe. In Australia, the US, New Zealand, Israel, the UK, and so on. And I'm now known as an expert in creating a signature talk that attracts leads and showcases authority. And I teach others how to do it too. Because I know now that compelling beats confidence every single time. Now, I want to give you an example of how this works, but I can't share my clients' stories because they're confidential. So I'm going to share mine instead. Now, I've been doing this for nearly 2 decades. But in November last year, I thought I would actually start applying it to my school community. And I had around 58 members. And I wanted to highlight and create a case study of how this process works because I've been doing this off school before then. So I decided to start seeing how I could attract new members and clients just through speaking. Nothing else, no social media, nothing, just speaking at events. And this is what my events or my results were for member attraction. In September, I did an event and I attracted, I think I had 32 people in the audience and 19 of them became members of my community and then part of my programs. That was in September. In November, I did 3 events, one in late October and 2 in November, and I got 52 new members. Then started to wind down in December, only got 15, so they were basically overflow from November. January, kicked it back up, did an event about middle of the month and got 36 new members. Then in February, I was actually winding down because I was planning on going to the UK for a speaking tour for a month. And then the war in the Middle East broke out, and the day I was due to leave and fly to Dubai to go to the UK from Australia, the Dubai airport was bombed and my flights were cancelled. So I didn't go to the UK, but planning on coming in October, so going all guns blazing then. Might want to change that expression actually. Anyway, suddenly I had no events booked, so then I started speaking at some local in-person events in March and still attracted 36 new members, and at April had 41 new members. So that is purely and solely from public speaking at events. And I'm not talking about massive stage events. They were online or in person, and some of them were quite small. This is the graph straight from school. And you can see the increase in May. I had 58 members. But what you might also notice here is I have a 100% retention rate. In other words, people that are joining are almost always staying. And that's because through speaking, I'm attracting the right kind of people. And let me give it to you in hard dollar figures. If you're somebody who wants to see something in hard dollar terms, let me share with you what happened. In terms of revenue, when I started doing this on the school platform seriously, I was making the princely sum of, wait for it, $21 a month. And that's Australian dollars, so that's about, I don't know, £10. Now, fast forward 7 months later, and Vocal Power has gone from a $21 a month business to a six-figure business, purely and totally from attracting clients through my signature talks. Where did I spend it, Padma? Love shoes, love me some shoes, can't tell a lie. Now, I tell you this not to impress you, but to impress upon you the power of public speaking and delivering a signature talk to help people get to know, like, and trust you. Public speaking can become your secret weapon in business too. A well-designed and delivered signature talk can magnify everything else that you're doing in your business so that you no longer have to chase those leads. Instead, you start to attract them. Now, before I show you how to create your signature talk, I want to make it super clear why just talking in public won't get the job done. I'm a little distracted by the chat here. Padma says, I'm sorry, when you were earning the £21, where was I spending it all? Not very far, because paying for my school subscription about then. And my fancy restaurants, the Irish restaurant McDonald's from Allen, that's about the size of it too. Okay, so a signature talk is different to just talking in public. A signature talk is a carefully designed and deliberately delivered talk. And here is the real source that goes with this. It's a talk that you repeat, and that repetition is key. Okay, let's do a quick check. What have we learnt so far? Pop it in the chat. What's been your key takeaway? Build trust from Sam. Be compelling. Danielle's on fire. You need a signature talk. Don't bet it all on social media. To lead the room. A signature talk is required. Fantastic. Building trust. You guys have got it. Well done. Now, repetition. I want to really hone in on this. Repetition is key. I'm a black belt in martial arts and a gold medalist in sparring. And one thing that fighting teaches you is this. Repetition builds skill that you can then call upon under pressure. Now, as a fighter, I don't wait until I'm in the ring to figure out how to respond when someone wants to punch or kick me. I practice again and again and again before I get into the ring so that when the pressure hits, my body knows what to do. Public speaking is the same. You don't want to be searching for your message in the moment. You want it so well designed that it becomes muscle memory. Like tying your shoes. Something you can do without really even thinking about it. And this is what a signature talk gives you. A message that you can repeat, refine, and rely on when it matters. So now you know the value of a signature talk. Who would like to know how to craft one? Give me a yes in the chat if you would like to know. Me from Abide. Yes, from Shannon, Daniel. Hello, Sharon, Maurice. Yes, from, yep, okay. Let's go then. Here is the meat. It's the signature talk method that I have created and massaged and now use all the time with myself and with my students. It's what I call my ACE framework. The A stands for authority message, the C stands for connection, and the E stands for expert invitation. This is not just about presentation skills. It's about taking your expertise and packaging it up into a message that people can understand, trust, and remember. A strong signature talk must do these three things. It must position you super clearly. There can be no doubt about what it is that you do. It must make your audience feel really understood. And above all, it must lead the right people to the next step of working with you. So let's look at how to do that. The A is for authority message. Now this, guys, this is where you get really clear on what you want to be known for. So think about this. What's your expertise? For example, I'm known as an expert in public speaking, specifically signature talks. Sam Rathling is known for her expertise in LinkedIn. Simon Sinek is known for helping leaders find their why. So what's your expertise? The way that you can answer this
It
is...
doesn't know what to connect to. There's too many open apps. Sorry. It's not going to work.
Sorry, Danielle, I'll
That's
find
okay.
who that is.
I'm hearing voices in my head, but if other people are hearing it, it's all
Hold
good.
on. No, I'm just looking now to see who that is. Guys, can you please mute yourselves? I will find it. Sorry, Danielle. I can't
That's
find
okay.
it. Here it is.
All good. In my training, we actually call this a disruption, and we deliberately create disruptions in my signature talk program so that people know how to manage this.
I think you've got the.
Why do you have Siri
Guys,
open?
I can, there's somebody
don't
that's
ever
not on
use
mute.
Siri.
I'm just trying to find it now. Sorry. It's as if we planned it, Danielle.
It is, but I'm just grateful it's not just in my head, because that's sometimes
No,
off-putting.
it's definitely not. Hang on one second. I'm just looking for who it
While
is.
we're doing this, why don't people pop into the chat what their expertise is? That way we can get a little head start on our workshop that we're going to do in a few minutes.
Yeah, I'm doing mute everyone now. 1 second. Guys,
So what is your
somebody is not on
expertise?
mute.
Good.
What microphone?
Burnout recovery coach. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate that support. Just because it's in my head doesn't mean it's not real. I hear that. I'll get the feels for that one.
Right.
Creative problem solving for Alan.
Somebody is not on mute and I can't, there's two people in the room where it is, so I'm just trying to find it now.
Yes. That's okay. You guys are doing the first part of the workshop as we speak. You're putting in your expertise.
Okay.
So what are you known for? There we go. Helping customer service teams handle difficult conversations with confidence. Joe, that's very well crafted. It's almost like you've done this before. I help people fund their relocation. Very good. Uplifting people, be seen. Great. All right. So you guys are starting to get this process down. So the next question is, who do you help? And think about this. Who is the person that you actually help? For example, I help business leaders, executives, and authors. That's the area I specialize in. Now, here's a pro tip. When you're thinking about who you help, keep the language really simple and narrow it down as much as you can. And this is called the accordion approach. When you first start out, you're probably helping everybody, but as you become more skillful, you will narrow that down to a more specific space. And don't stress if you're not quite sure who you help, because I'm going to make it easy for you to do in a few minutes. So you guys have got a good handle on this already in the chat. I help professional diaspora, I hope I'm saying that correctly. Excellent. All right, so that's the first part. Step 2 is, what problem do you solve? What problem do you solve? And think about that. Think about the problem that you actually help people with. I'll give you an example. I help people that I work with to turn their expertise into a clear, compelling message. So Jason, giving people more value might be a little vague. I think we can work on that a bit more when we do the workshop part. Overcome stress, burnout, and overwhelm. That's very specific. Great work. Feeling stuck and not having enough funds to relocate. Excellent. All right, so that's the problem that you solve. Then the next one is the results. What outcome do you create for people? What do they get from working with you? For example, I help my clients to attract leads, build authority, and grow their business. That's the outcome. Once you have the answers to those 3 questions, you just take those 3 pieces and assemble them. So my authority message looks like this. I help business leaders, executives, and authors turn their expertise into compelling talks that attract leads, build authority, and grow their business. When you put all the 3 answers to those 3 questions together, that becomes your authority message, and that is the first pillar of your signature talk. So let's look at the C. C is for connection story. This is the part that makes your audience feel seen. Step 1 in creating connection is understanding. Now, what story do you have that shows you understand your audience's world? Now, I've shared several stories throughout this presentation today that show that I understand your world. Can anyone think of one I used? Let's see who was paying attention. Pop it in the chat there. If you can think of a story that I used to show my understanding. My income, very good. Padma, that will forever remain in your brain now, won't it? Through living it personally, Jason. Excellent. All right. In step 2 in this C part of the framework is creating connection by giving examples. So what examples do you have that make your message real to your audience? Think about the examples I showed today to make my message real. For example, what it's like to get into a new car and how you could smell and feel and experience that. Step 3 in creating connection is the big one. This is pain points. What pain points does your audience need you to name? Think about some of the pain points that I used today. What were some of the pains that I showed you that I had experienced myself that made you relate? Public speaking, exactly. Well done, Daniel. All right, so your connection story is really important because people trust the expert who can explain their problem clearly. Now, a signature talk doesn't just teach your audience, it actually makes people feel really understood. And the connection story is there to build a bridge between where they are and where they want to be. When I shared that I was confident but still not compelling, that is a mirror for anyone who's ever thought, oh, I'm showing up, but people aren't responding. Or people who might be thinking, I know I can help, but I'm just not converting. Or anybody who's thinking, I've got so much value, but I'm just not able to communicate it clearly. That's what a powerful, strong connection story does. It helps people feel seen, and it helps them trust that you understand the road that they are on. And this is an interesting little thing in marketing and advertising. If you can describe the audience's problem in a way that makes them feel that you know their problem better than they do, there's an automatic assumption that you will therefore have the solution. Very, very powerful tool. So let's look at the E, and this is where I see people fall down a lot. E is for the expert invitation, and this is how you gently lead people to the next step. Step 1 in the expert invitation phase is answering the audience's question, what should I do next? And I'm going to answer that for you in a moment. So step 2 in issuing an expert invitation is, how do I invite people without pressure, without feeling really disjointed from my talk, or without feeling really flat and underwhelming? And step 3 in expert invitation is making sure that that next step feels like a clear, seamless, and completely obvious pathway. It's about cutting through the noise for your audience and removing all of the overwhelm that they are experiencing, whatever your topic might be. When your invitation is aligned with the value that you deliver in your talk, it doesn't feel pushy. It actually feels helpful, and people appreciate the fact that you've given them a clear pathway. The important thing about your talk in the expert invitation pillar is that a signature talk should not just end with applause. It absolutely must end with action. So that's what makes your signature talk powerful: your authority message, your connection story, and your expert invitation. And the beauty of a signature talk is that you can turn your expertise into one clear message that you can use again and again and again to grow your business, showcase your authority, and attract new clients. And it's one of those marketing assets that you can create, and the more you do it, the better it gets. For example, I've delivered this talk to recruitment agencies, and I call that talk The Speaker's Edge: How to Build Trust, Attract Clients, and Become the Recruitment Expert Companies Choose First. Next weekend, I'm delivering this to martial arts business owners, and it's called The Speaker's Edge: How to Attract Parents, Build Trust, and Bring More Students Through the Door. I've also delivered it to authors and publishing companies, and that one's called The Speaker's Edge. You might see a theme here: how to make your books more memorable, marketable, and magnetic. Nice little bit of alliteration in there. And I've delivered it to corporate clients across hospitality, healthcare, retail, and the government sectors. And this one's called The Speaker's Edge: How to Use Your Voice to Build Authority, Attract Clients, and Become the First Call Expert. Now, it's the same core message. You use different examples and different language depending on your audience. But the beauty of a signature talk is that it's one message that you refine rather than starting from scratch each time. So give me a 1 in the chat if you can see how powerful a signature talk can be in effectively and easily attracting clients and growing your authority. 1's coming at me from all directions. Fabulous. All right, it's time for an audit. Who doesn't love an audit? This is a self-audit. I want you to ask yourself, if someone invited you next week to speak to an audience, a room full of 50, 100, 1,000, 10,000 of your ideal clients, would you know what your core message is? Would you know what story you would open with and what next step you would offer? And I ask you this because I want you to understand that knowing your topic is not the same as having a signature talk. And if the answer to any of those 3 questions is no, it probably means you're not ready to speak, to attract leads, and demonstrate your authority. And it probably means you need a signature talk. But just to really hammer it home, think about it's like going fishing. Now, right now, you might be out there fishing with a rod. You're hauling in one prospect or one lead at a time. If you have a powerful signature talk, it's much more like going fishing with a net. You can grab a lot of new clients at once instead of one by one. So the next step, now that you know what a strong signature talk needs, which is an authority message, a connection story, and an expert invitation, the next step is knowing how to build that signature talk in a way that attracts clients. And that is why this gift, sponsored by Sam, is so valuable. If you are a business leader who has expertise experience, and a message that's worth sharing, and you want to turn that into authority and more clients, of course, this gift is going to bridge the gap for you and give you a clear pathway between where you are now and where you want to be. Your gift is a personal signature talk roadmap audit with me. And this is valued at over $1,200. You're going to walk away with a clear pathway for your own signature talk so that you can turn your expertise into better opportunities. Now, I've opened up my calendar for these audits for the next few days only. There are very limited spots, and this gift will only be available until the end of our session today. So it's going to be first in, best dressed. But before I show you how to book, give me a yes in the chat if you want to be one of the lucky few to get this gift. See from Stacey, that's a yes. Fantastic. All right, so get your fingers or your camera ready because I am going to Melbourne to speak at a martial arts conference. So I have very limited spots on my calendar, and that is the QR code, and I will throw the link in the chat and you can book in there. It's completely free to you guys because you are all part of Sam's community or my community if you're visiting from mine. And I'm also going to open up for a workshop in a moment as well. So grab that. I'm going to give you another 10 seconds and then we're going to jump in and do a little workshop and a Q&A. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, if you didn't grab the QR code, the link is in the chat. Awesome. Okay. Let's jump in now and have a look. First up, before we do any of this little workshop that I've put together, I want to see if there are any questions. Anything specifically that you guys want answered about public speaking, please put them in the chat for me. Very happy to answer those. And then we are going to, you're very welcome. We're going to do a little bit of work on how you could get your signature talk because I want to look at answering the questions. Wish you didn't have to be half in and half out because you have a 9-to-5 job. Well, it's great to have you here, Natalie. I saw you in the chat the whole time. Fantastic. Stacey's booked. Woohoo, good job. All right, so grab your pens. Here's a question. What do you want to be known for? Not your job title, not your full life story, and not every service that you offer. Just one clear thing. Think about what you want to be known for because that is the starting point. For me, I want to be known as someone who helps people with their signature talk. What do you want to be known for? Think about it and pop it in the chat. And Jason, I especially want to hear from you. So I feel like we've got the opportunity to be able to give you some little skills upgrades there. So what do you want to be known for? Have a think about it and pop it in the chat. As a life coach, what specific space do you want to be known as a life coach in? My goodness. We've got Padma, Abide, Stacey, Steve, Daniel. Great work, guys. You've got in there quick as can be. Well done. Let's see, life coach for burnout recover. Very good. So make sure you're very specific because a life coach could be somebody who helps you with any number of different things. So a burnout recovery is great. Soccer, welcome, Soccer. Soccer wants to be known as a change maker. I know what this is, Soccer, but I want you to say it. What's the space you want to be known for working in? Padma wants to be known for helping women 40 plus land the job they deserve, their worth, and are happy. So you might want to, you've got all the content in there, so kind of shrink it down. So something that's going to be easier for you to say off the tongue. Jason, letting others be heard, suicide awareness and prevention. Fantastic. Any particular group there, Jason? Helping ambitious women with their most ambitious high-paid goals. Very good, Stacey. Daniel, financial expert, financial services and retirement. Very good. All right, so once you've got that, ask yourself 3 questions. Is it clear? It might be clear to you. The second question is, would somebody else understand it quickly? So is it clear? Would somebody else understand it quickly? And the third question is, would the right person know that it's relevant to them? Would the right person know that it's relevant to them? And we've got Ashley and Lee who've booked in and grabbed their gift. There must be very few left now. Very well done. All right, so here is a test. If you've answered those questions, is it clear? Would somebody else understand it quickly? Would the right person know it's relevant to them? This is the final test. Could someone repeat it to another person? Could someone repeat it to another person? Now, if the answer to that is no, it doesn't mean your expertise is weak. It just means your message needs more structure. It's a good question, isn't it, Lee? And that's a great way to actually work this out. If you missed out on one of those free calls with me, one of the ways of working this out for yourself is to practice this with a family member or a friend. Somebody who likes you generally is a good way to do it. And have that person answer that question. Could you repeat that back? What does it mean to you? Have them explain it back to you. Because if somebody can explain it to you, exactly, Sam, can an 8-year-old understand it and explain it? So having a partner check is a really good way of doing it. So here's a little question to just check how we're going with this. Give me a yes in the chat if you found this a little harder than you might have expected, or if you realize that you normally give too much information in your explanation. Yes from Shannon and Steve. Great. All right. Yes, excellent. So that's kind of the point. Giving too much information is something that I struggled with all the time, and that's why I made sure I included that in the actual presentation today, because I used to think that volume equals value. I was a real size matters girl. All right. And then I realized that I was drowning people in information and I wasn't actually helping them. So overwhelm is really important. And Alex Amosi, the guy who you guys probably know him from the school platform, he's actually the one that shared a story with me that made a big difference to me about overloading people with information, especially if you're somebody who is a person who delivers some kind of training program and you have course content or you do training of any kind. This story really resonated with me. Now, when I say he shared this with me, sadly, he and I were not sitting down having a coffee together. It was something he shared in a session that I attended as an audience member. But that he bought this course, and I think it might have been on YouTube, but that's not really the point. He bought this course and he spent $5,000 on this course. And he was excited to get into this course, and he opened up the platform that the course was stored on, and he looked at this particular course that he'd spent $5,000 on, and it was one 45-minute video for $5,000. And how would you feel if you got one 45-minute video for $5,000? Probably the same way Alex Amosi felt, pretty damn cheesed off. Until he went through that video and he realized it contained absolutely everything he needed to know step by step and nothing else. And he said it was the best money he'd ever spent on any kind of education. And what I learned from that was something really powerful, because he then told me that, again, we're having a little chat, just the two of us together. He then shared with the audience that he writes his books, and I don't know if you've seen his books, but they're big books on the $100 million leads, $100 million offers, and forgot what the third one's called, $100 million sales, I think. But he writes his books that at the level the third grader can understand. So simple language and stripping away all of the overwhelm is the best thing that we can do for our clients. We need to, and there's a scaling term that Sam are in a scaling group together, big mastermind group, and this is what they use all the time. We have to eat our customers' complexity. In other words, we have to make it really easy for people to consume. And that's one of the things that I encourage you to be really aware of when you're doing this exercise. Strip it back and make it specific, make it easy for people to understand. And one of the things, if you've booked one of those calls with me, one of the things that we'll do straight away is go through and say, how can we reword this in a way that makes it simple to understand? Make sense to everybody? So that's your first starting point. Have a look and see who you help and what is it that you want to be known for? What's your expertise? And how can you strip that back and make it so easy that an 8-year-old can understand it and repeat it to somebody else? Now, in the interest of avoiding overwhelm, that's the only step you should take, because that's your anchor. Once you can anchor that in, everything else will come from that space. So let's open up for Q&A now. Sam, is there anything specific? Oh, I've got to get my LinkedIn thing and stick it in there again. Otherwise, I'll get spanked, and not in a good way, from Sam later.
Yeah, if you're not connected to Danielle, because she's going to be crushing it on LinkedIn. So my guys, obviously, I know we've got a combination of communities here, but if you guys are on LinkedIn, please make sure you're connected to Danielle and following her on LinkedIn. I'm also going to pop the calendar link in case you missed one of the free calls, although I think most of them are gone now. And if you're not a member of Danielle's community and you're in mine, I've just put my link to get you into Danielle's community as well. But definitely your LinkedIn needs to go inside the chat, Danielle, please.
Yes, just finding it. Of course, I had it on hand. I will have it on hand.
Be sure to follow her on LinkedIn, and then as she starts posting, when she figures out how to, we need you engaging with her posts on LinkedIn.
I'm going to be Sam's best case study, because I know zero about how to use LinkedIn, and I've just been very fortunate enough to join her program, and I'm looking forward to it because I know that's where I should be. But I just hate social media and platforms so much that I go onto Facebook from time to time and just cringe, because there's like 300 messages, and I'm like, nope, just shut that down. Don't really want to deal with that. But I hate the ads and I hate the AI. So I'm really looking forward to using LinkedIn, because there's more my kind of people.
Yeah, for sure. I love it. And
Awesome.
I have used everything that Danielle is talking about here is how I built my brand, essentially. So speaking and getting known for something and building credibility through speaking I've done it multiple times, but you guys have probably seen me, if you follow me on LinkedIn, like I'm out talking and speaking all the time. And that is this one-to-many, having a signature talk and being able to be in front of an audience, whether it's for 20 minutes, 45 minutes, 90 minutes, whatever it is, that allows you to massively get your message across, and then obviously off the back of it drive a lot of leads into your business. So I mean, I'll just give you an example, if that's okay, Danielle, because I know it kind of retone the message. But last week I did 2 signature talks. One was online and one was online for an hour, and another one was online and one was in person, and I booked 37 calls from those three signature talks. And
that's awesome.
My diary is literally, you can't even get in my diary this week because it's so full from all the calls from last week. So it works and it's amazing. And thank you for offering the free gift to everyone, because I know it's super valuable to get in your diary. This woman doesn't only do what she does, she also runs a full-time job as well. So like the fact that Danielle is even giving you time in her diary is amazing. So thank you, Danielle. I appreciate that.
My pleasure. I actually took time off the next few days before I go to Melbourne to deliver this talk because I knew I wasn't going to fit it in. So I'm managing director of an international company where I do business coaching and I help clients to grow their business. So public speaking is one of the tools that I have used to grow that company, and it's one of the tools I now teach other people. But I saw Sharon had her hand up there. But one of the things that I wanted to share with you is I can't give specific client information because it's very confidential, but I did have a message from a client this morning who delivered a talk to an audience on the weekend, and it's now Tuesday. Oh, you accidentally raised your hand. You're just leading me on there, Sharon. Tease. Okay. So this particular student of mine went and delivered her signature talk for the first time to an audience. And when she delivered this talk, she actually had a high ticket offer that she delivered, and her expert invitation that she delivered as part of that resulted in an audience of 40 people, and 22 of them bought her high ticket offer, which was $10,000. That's massive. Yeah, and she's just sent that to me in the chat this morning, and it was like, woo! Very exciting. I love seeing those kind of success stories. Yeah.
Edgar has a question. He says, how do you get invited to give your signature talk?
That is a fabulous question, Edgar. And I'll give you the short version of the answer to this. It's essentially, in my experience, and Sam can sort of share this with me as well, in the speaking space, it's almost always with who you know, not what you know. And just to give you an example on that, Sam and I were supposed to get together and do our speaking tour in the UK in March. I'm still not over that, but I'm letting it go. But I got connected with Sam. I can't remember who connected us. Do you remember, Sam?
Yeah, it was Brandon Smith.
Brandon, that's right, Brandon Smith. So Brandon connected Sam and I, and because we kind of got to talking and I could see what a brilliant expert she is in that space, I connected her with my equivalent counterpart in the UK part of the company, because it's an international company, and I actually introduced her to Matt, who's my counterpart in the UK, and said, you've got to connect with this woman. She's fantastic. She will do a great talk for you at your big event. And then she, because I had introduced her, she was then invited to speak in that space. And Sam has introduced me to many different speaking opportunities as well. So a lot of it is what you is through exactly what Sam teaches, which is the social networking element. And I have a huge database of people that I help connect people to who come in as part of my program that gets them into those spaces. But the first thing that I suggest that you do as a starting point, once you have your signature talk, and I say this very specifically because don't do this until you've got your signature talk, because you only get one chance. When you've got a good signature talk and you're going out to deliver it, make sure that when you deliver it, that you deliver it really well, because the first one is the one where you then get opportunities to deliver additional talks. So what I did when I was first starting to do this was I looked for networking events, but not networking events that were one-to-one where I'd go in there and we'd all hand out our business cards, and at the end of it we'd kind of pick those up and then drop them in a little circular file on the floor. I would go to speaking events instead. So I'd go to networking events where they had a speaker. And when you go to networking events where there's a speaker, you then can connect with the speaker. So I would go to a networking event, and I still do this today, where I talk to the event organizers and I talk to the speakers. That's who I kind of make my beeline for. Not so much the other participants who are there, but those two people in particular, who organize the event and the speaker. And what I say to the organizer is, this is a great event. I connect with them on that social level, and then I ask them, how do you source speakers? And then I talk to them about potentially me being a speaker and offering my services to them. And I have several signature talks that I do, as well as this one I do, the business body language blunders one, which is business body language mistakes that people make with their bodies. And the other one is how to create raving fans when clients quit. So I have 3 different talks that I deliver. So you connect with the event organizer, and then you also ask the speaker, hey, where else do you talk? And you find out from the speaker where they speak and how they get in contact with those events. And it's a system that you follow, but essentially it's exactly what Sam teaches in the social selling. It's about forming those relationships with people so that they know, like, and trust you, and therefore they will be happy to recommend you. So Edgar, I hope that answers your question.
Can I just
Okay,
add something into that, Danielle, as well? I think a lot of
please.
people, when they first do their talks as well, is that they don't document it. So because you're the one that's speaking, quite often you forget that, like, oh, I need to get videos and photos of me doing this. And some events, like the one I spoke at for your organization, they have like a professional photographer and videographer, but most of the talks you do in the beginning won't have that. So make sure that you make friends with someone in the audience at the event and ask them, would you please take like loads of photos of me, like back of the room, lots of heads, etc., and just take like 50, 100 photos that you can shuffle through afterwards. And then you can use that on social media, on LinkedIn, on other channels, so that then people know that you actually speak. And then that is another way for you to land more speaking gigs. You'll see me posting all the time, every time I'm in front of an audience. And then quite often, just to add some LinkedIn context, like if you can tag some of the people that were in the audience, they will then like and comment and share what they got from your talk. And then that way you get into those people's networks and you'll receive more invitations to speak that way as well. So it's a combination of both of my skill set and Danielle's skill set in terms of how you turn your signature talk into more signature talks, essentially.
Absolutely. Great response there, Sam. And one of the other things to be aware of is that when you're doing these kinds of events, always leave the event and thank the event organizer and ask them for a testimonial and ask them for a referral to another speaker. You should always ask for 2 referrals. Who else do you know that you think would benefit from me doing this talk?
And I think another thing as well is, like, if you're going to an event to speak, don't just show up for the bit that you're speaking at. Like, go to the whole, like, if you can get to the whole day or the whole event, get there early, get a feel for the vibe. You get time with your organizer before everybody else arrives, because if you get there and you're like, you know, there's already lots of people there, they're going to be busy hosting for the event. Whereas if you get there really, really early, it super impresses them. You get more one-to-one time with them ahead of time to build the relationship. You also then might get to see what other speakers have said before you, especially if it's a multi-speaker event, and being able to then pull some of that context into your own talk and weave maybe something that someone said earlier in the day to make sure you don't cross over, or that you're adding additional context to what someone already else said. And then again, staying through to the end of the day just is a bit of respect for the organizer. And you can, as Danielle said, build relationships with the other speakers by doing that as well. So I think it was a nice thing.
That's a real pro tip there, Sam. And I'm somebody who also organises events as well. We run the Asia Pacific's biggest conference in the space that I operate in Australia. And as somebody who runs events, I can tell you that one of the things that always goes on in your mind as an event organiser is, will the speakers turn up? Because if the speakers don't turn up, it has a massive impact on your ability to run an effective event, especially if it's ticketed and paid, which mine are. So what that means is that people are essentially anxious about the speaker turning up. So if you turn up early, then that takes that worry off the speaker's mind. And here's another pro tip. If you turn up early and say to the speaker, hey, if anything happens and someone doesn't turn up or you need me to go longer, just sing out. I'm fully prepared to be able to do that for you. So you can act as that kind of safety rail for the event organizer. And I can't tell you how powerful it is. I've got a couple of key speakers that I ask every year to come back. And that's one of the reasons why I know they can fill that gap for me if needed.
Yeah, like Leanne's just posted in the chat there, attend the whole event. My husband was at an event. The speaker came in, sat in the green room, didn't talk to anyone, gave his talk, which was during lunch, didn't have a lunch himself, but finished his talk, promptly walked out the door, didn't even take questions, left everyone very disappointed. Like, that's definitely how not to do it.
Yeah, that's how to burn your bridges.
I know, right? I also like taking a handwritten thank you card and a copy of my book, and I sign it and I give that to I give handwritten gifts to the people that invited me to speak. So whether you're being paid to speak or not paid to speak, it's an opportunity to turn that into more business, right? So sometimes you will be invited to speak paid. Sometimes you might be invited to speak somewhere not paid. But if you are being not paid for whatever reason, always find ways to get value out of that. So I might speak somewhere, but then I know that I'm getting a professional videographer, professional photographer. I might say, well, is it okay for me to sell my books there? Or is it okay for me to, to move people into my school community or whatever it might be? There has to be some kind of value there. As long as you speak to and communicate with the organizer and the person hosting and just agree what are the terms of, because it's never free, right? It's always your time. And yes, you can be out there and have a signature talk that people are willing to pay $8, $10, $15,000 for. And you can have a talk out there that, sometimes I do speak for free, but I know that it's going to turn into business because that last piece of Danielle's talk there in terms of what is the action that always leads to more clients. So every time I speak, I get leads, and every time I speak, I get clients. So I think once you have got it nailed with the help of Danielle in terms of nailing that signature talk, it's just a license to print money at the end of the day once you've got it nailed.
Absolutely. And the easy part is the part I can't emphasize enough. You don't have to keep up with the algorithms. You don't have to keep up with all the content. What you're doing is crafting a talk, and you're becoming a master in that one element. And when you're a master in that one element, you just continually improve. You don't have to recreate. So you can be called upon at the drop of a hat and have no issues being able to stand up and deliver your talk.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of questions in there. We had the same pattern with celeb, never use it again. What's the ratio of paid versus not paid when you're starting out? That's a great question. I will answer this from my perspective, and then I'll hand over to Stan to ask her for her perspective. So, as I said, I run events and I attend events, and I work on a paid and an unpaid basis. And in both cases, you're essentially trading your time. And that's one of the reasons I love the concept of a signature talk, because I'm being paid for the one that I'm doing next week. But the same talk that I'm delivering in the same week to a different audience is a not paid event. And the reason it's a not paid event is because that gets me in front of, I think, around 2,000 of my ideal clients that I could not access any other way. So for me, it's worth my time to deliver that talk for free because of the access that I get to people that can experience me and then potentially decide that they want to work with me. And just to follow on with what Sam said about the assets that you can get and when to get to the event, most of the conversations that I have that lead to business happen after I speak. So if you leave an event after you've spoken, as well as being rude, it actually robs you of the opportunity to make real connections and to potentially get those clients to work with you. So the conversations I have after an event, when people come up to me afterwards and say, I really liked something about the talk, and we get into a conversation, that's when that client attraction phase really kicks up another notch. So you can do both paid versus unpaid. I find that access to an audience gives me the best value, and I'll do that unpaid. But if it's something that I know there's a high ticket cost involved, then I charge for it. What about you, Sam?
Yeah, I'm the same. I kind of take it on the event and the audience and things like that as well. I think when you are starting out, I mean, if I look back to when I first started out speaking, I think the first time I ever spoke was 2010. And I got invited to speak on stage at a business conference. There were 200 people there, and I was the only non-paid speaker in the room. So everyone else was being paid, and it was my first ever gig, and I got invited to speak, and I had never spoken before, so I was perfectly okay with not speaking because I was like, okay, this is a good opportunity to get in front of 200 people. And I stood up there, did my thing, got a standing ovation from 200 people, and realized I absolutely loved being on the stage. And that was the first time that the light bulb went off in terms of, oh, wow, this could be a really good opportunity for me to build my brand. And although I wasn't paid, I got business from the room, and the audience was full of my target audience. So I think when you're first starting out, I think it is about getting yourself out there as much as possible, because the more you're seen to be speaking, the more people are likely to book you for the paid stuff. So I don't necessarily think it's about a ratio thing. I think it is just about, as Danielle said, looking at what is that opportunity. If it's full of your target audience, you're going to, and you do a good job and you leave that audience with tons of value, you're going to leave that room with opportunities for more business. Even better if you can link it in with LinkedIn, because even if the people don't have that chat with you afterwards one-to-one, if you also have your LinkedIn QR code on your slides, or you have the ability to pop your LinkedIn, as Danielle has just done in here, the audience is going to be much more engaged with your content because they've seen you speak. So the fact that you guys have all now spent time with Danielle, and now you're going to follow her on LinkedIn, and when she starts posting amazing things on LinkedIn, you're much more likely to engage with her content because she's someone that you already connected with and you feel connected with. So I've got most of my actual big corporate business from the networks of the people that have seen me speak in smaller rooms. So it might be that you connect with somebody, and the currency that you get from like connecting with someone in the audience, it's likely that someone that they know is your next best client. But if you didn't connect with them in the room and you didn't make that connection, especially through LinkedIn, then you wouldn't get that. So I encourage, even if it's podcasts, a signature talk can be used as a structure for a podcast interview. It can be used doesn't have to be like on a stage, right, Danielle? It can be used,
Absolutely.
anytime you get an opportunity to be in front of a client, these stories that you craft and the way that you use your signature talk. So in the early days, build your influence, build your audience. And whilst you don't have a following, borrow other people's. So borrow other people's stages, borrow other people's podcasts, borrow other people's YouTube interviews. Just do whatever you can to get yourself out there, because the more you do that, the more you're going to attract more leads and more opportunities and get known for the thing that you want to get known for. Like, that's a big thing.
Absolutely. And I think the other thing is, if you're thinking about you want to get paid for your time, I invite you to consider it slightly differently. You pay Meta to advertise on their platform. They don't pay you. So if you're getting the opportunity to stand in front of a group of people that are your ideal audience, you're actually saving money by not paying for it. I do have some people that I work with that kind of get in their head about, I should be paid for this. And I like to just make that point there, that Meta don't pay you to advertise for them.
Yeah. And that very first talk I gave in 2010, came off the stage, and the guy said, do you want to do that again? I said, yeah, I'd love to. He said, do you want to do it in India? And I got the opportunity to go to Bangalore to give the same presentation to 600 entrepreneurs in Bangalore. And then I became an international speaker within 2 talks. So, immediately like that, then my career completely took off. So I think you never know where one talk is going to take you. And it's incredible. Like if you can nail the signature talk and really kind of button down this expertise and, have this in your armor, like you are going to be able to use that for lots and lots of different things forevermore, like not just once. This is not just about getting ready for one talk. This is about getting something in your back pocket that you can deliver over and over and over and over again. That is, that is going to turn into thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like I can attribute like at least 7 figures to having a signature talk and being able to speak. 100%.
I agree completely. And the other thing to be mindful of is that every time that you get a client, that opens up a whole lot of other opportunities. One of my clients that is now in my mastery program, for example, she runs a big accountancy company, and I'm speaking to her clients next week. So has been a client of mine, and now she's invited me to speak to her clients at a big event she's running. So that exposes me, probably use a different phrase, that puts me in front of a whole lot of other people that I would not have had the ability to connect with otherwise. Yeah. So it is very much about those connections.
It is.
So any last questions before we finish up? Daniel says, so many great ideas. That's fantastic.
Yeah, perfect. Awesome. Daniel, you said I help people with LinkedIn. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Danielle, do you want to pop your, I know you've got some of your crew here. Do you want to pop your link for my group into the chat? Or do you want me to?
I'm going to warn people, man. My LinkedIn has herpes. You don't want to go there. I'm telling you right now. It is bad. I was on a group call and it got put up, and I responded quickly like Danielle was doing, and then I was the subject, and they were like, "Oh." So it's that bad. It's bad, but I'll put it there.
Amazing.
I'm
I'll connect with you after, Daniel. That's fine.
I'll look for the link. How do I get it to you? Put it inside.
So, Danielle, do you want to pop your link in my group in?
I will pop that in there. But let's just make sure we've got all the any last questions that we have. I want to make sure everybody leaves with all the information that they want. So what is it that you would like to know about public speaking before we go? And if you're not in Sam's community, that is the link there. She's brilliant. And I'm telling you, who was it that was just saying that? Daniel, I challenge you to a LinkedIn off. I don't know if that's a thing, but I've just created it, as in who has the worst LinkedIn profile and the worst LinkedIn experience, because I guarantee it's me. So I take your LinkedIn and I lower the bar even further. And now we're at the point where I'm now working with Sam, and she's going to make that help me work that and make sure that it's much, much better than it was. Fantastic.
I love it.
All right.
Okay, amazing. Well, I want to say on behalf of everyone here, a massive thank you. I know it's super early there for you, Danielle, and I really appreciate you, number one, coming into my community, number two, for delivering such epic value, and number three, for giving such an amazing gift away. To all of you that have got your call booked and you've grabbed your free gift again, Danielle, enjoy. She's amazing. I'm super excited. Be sure to join her community if you haven't already. Be sure to follow her on LinkedIn. And I think if we can all just give her a unmute and give her some big love in the chat here and also over here, that'll be amazing. Thank you, Danielle.
Thank you
so much. Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you all.
Take care.
All right. Have a good day wherever you are in the world. Have a good morning, good evening, or good afternoon. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Speak soon. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye.
Just get this finished.
I've lost my button.
It's fine. It's all good. I'll just
cool.
let everybody. I've just ended the
recording.
I've just ended the